Married for 10 years. Robert was having an affair. Sarah's own sister still refused to get a divorce. Sarah was at her wits' end. Her phone inexplicably connected to young Robert. She pleaded with him, telling him that the 32-year-old Robert was having an affair. "Could you help me sign divorce papers back then? And set me free?" Young Robert didn't believe he would have an affair. He even said, "Sarah, you are the one I love fiercely. If I ever really had an affair and trapped you, then I'll die," making the 32-year-old Robert completely disappear. The call ended. The bedroom door was kicked open with a bang. Robert walked in, his face icy. His gaze swept over Sarah and landed on the divorce papers on the vanity. In that moment, even his gold-rimmed glasses couldn't hide his coldness. "Haven't you caused enough trouble? Just because I asked you for a necklace for Jessica, you're insisting on a divorce?" The Jessica he mentioned was Sarah's own sister, Jessica. Sarah stared at the man she had loved for over 10 years. Her eyes couldn't hide the bitterness. "Just about a necklace? You and Jessica hug, kiss, and sleep together. Intimate photos are flooding my phone. Sisters involved with the same man. Aren't you ashamed for people to know?" Robert's face froze. He pushed up the lower rim of his glasses, his expression betraying a difficult-to-hide guilt. Yet he retorted stubbornly, "What nonsense are you talking? All right, Mom and Dad asked me to bring you back to the Smiths' place to celebrate Jessica's successful solo recital. Try to be sweet later. Don't upset Jessica." He didn't give Sarah a chance to refuse. As soon as Sarah was brought to the Smiths' place, upon entering, Mrs. Smith pulled Sarah aside. "You should divorce Robert and give him to Jessica. Anyway, you're scarred and unfit to be Robert's wife. Jessica and Robert are the best match now. They have a lot of fans online who ship them." Sarah lowered her head, clutching her hands tightly. Even so, she couldn't suppress the tightness in her chest. Afraid he would disagree, Mr. Smith also strode over, ordering sternly, "You know Jessica has been anemic since childhood. She's weak. As the older sister, you should be accommodating. The doctor said if Jessica marries someone she loves and is happy, her illness will get better. Then you won't have to donate blood for Jessica every month." More giving in. Ever since Jessica was born, Sarah had always been giving in. Sacrificing health, giving up a scholarship opportunity, giving up parents' affection. Sarah gave a self-mocking laugh, pulled her hands away, and stepped back. "Fine," she said. "I'll give Robert to Jessica. But this time is the last time I'll give in for Jessica. From now on, you and I will have absolutely nothing to do with the Smiths' place anymore." For the words Mom and Dad, she no longer held any hope. As she finished speaking, from behind her came an exaggerated gasp. "Sarah, how could you say something like that? You're upsetting Mom and Dad." Jessica ran over from the sofa, pulling Robert. Jessica hugged Mr. Smith, her eyes red, and then Mrs. Smith. "Mom and Dad," she sobbed. "I don't want Sarah to cut off ties with us. Don't force her anymore. I don't care about being married. Even if Robert and I don't get married, we'll still be happy." Mrs. Smith panicked. "How can that be? You're not like your sister, a scarred, ugly monster. Someone who can't be seen. You deserve to be happy and joyful, and receive everyone's blessings." Mr. Smith went even further, slapping Sarah. He ordered, "That'll teach you to talk nonsense. And make your sister cry. Get down on your knees. Apologize to your sister." Sarah fell to the floor from the blow, kneeling by Robert's leather shoes. He lowered his gaze to Sarah's swollen, scarred face. His brow furrowed slightly. "Mom and Dad," Robert said, "Sarah was scarred because she saved me. For that reason alone, I won't divorce her. Let's eat. The food is getting cold." The topic wasn't discussed further. Everyone took their seats. At the dining table, Robert picked up some shelled crab meat. Jessica, sitting next to him, took it directly with her mouth. Juice got on her lips, and he simply dotingly wiped it away for her. "You're not a child anymore," he chuckled. "Why are you eating so fast?" Jessica pouted, acting spoiled as if no one else was there. It's good because Robert gave it to me. I want more. Mr. and Mrs. Smith watched, chuckling, extremely pleased with their interaction. At the table, only Sarah sat alone in the corner, like an outsider. After dinner, back home, Robert was already drunk. Sarah was about to make a hangover remedy when she heard Robert murmuring, "Sarah, be content. Even though I don't have feelings for you anymore, I'm kind enough to keep you, providing you with everything you need. With your scarred face, you'd ruin the view if you went outside. If you leave me, you couldn't even survive." His words were like a sharp knife, piercing Sarah's heart. Robert had finally spoken his true feelings. He hadn't loved her since the day she was scarred. Sarah stared at the drunk man, her eyes slowly turning red. "Robert, even if I can't survive, I'll leave you. He is a living person, not anyone's property." But the sleeping Robert didn't react. Just then, her phone chimed. Sarah received a text message from young Robert. "Sarah, you said last time that you would be scarred at the school anniversary because you saved me. So I stayed home for the school anniversary yesterday and didn't go anywhere. I wasn't caught in a fire. Will the future you not be scarred? Check your face. Is it healed?" After reading it, Sarah's eyes widened dramatically. Ignoring everything else, she rushed to the bathroom. Staring at the haggard woman with healed scars in the mirror, her breath hitched. Her scarred face was completely healed, and the bathroom mirror wasn't the old on. It had suddenly become big and bright. The scar cream that had always been on the countertop had all turned into skincare products. Everything had changed in an instant, as if young Robert had changed it. Sarah was lost in thought. Suddenly, there was a loud bang outside the bathroom. Sarah snapped back to reality and rushed out. She saw Robert entering the guest room, pinching the bridge of his nose. Seeing her in the way, the man impatiently pushed her aside. "You're blocking my way to the guest room again? I told you, not until the 15th of every month. I don't want to sleep with you. Can't you stop being so horny?" With that, he turned and entered the guest room, slamming the door shut. Sarah stood frozen, the humiliation feeling like a slap in the face. She had been wrong. There were things that even young Robert couldn't change. She clutched her chest in distress, leaned against the wall, and looked up, giving a self-mocking bitter laugh. "So, even if I wasn't scarred, the 32-year-old Robert still doesn't love me anymore." It took her a long time to recover before she decided to go back to the master bedroom. But as she passed the guest room, through the slightly ajar door, she heard Robert's suppressed panting. She saw Robert holding his phone in his left hand and using his right hand under the covers. Jessica's seductive voice came from the phone. Robert's head was slightly raised, his Adam's apple bobbing. "Good girl, Jessica. So good. Keep going, I'm almost there." In an instant, Sarah felt like she'd fallen into an ice cellar. Her trembling fingertips tingled numbly. Her husband, who had just refused to sleep with her, was now so eager he didn't even bother closing the door, while video calling with her own sister for sexual release. The ache in her heart was replaced by anger. Sarah pushed the door open and walked in. "Instead of having a video call here," she said, "why don't you just divorce me and marry Jessica?" Robert immediately hung up video call. His face was full of unsatisfied frustration. He adjusted himself under his pants, and then accused her, his expression unchanged. "Why are you not sleeping late at night and throwing a fit about divorce? I've been supporting you since we got married. You're just my property. Can you even survive without me?" The annoyance in his eyes pierced Sarah deeply. She fought back the moisture in her eyes, and argued, heartbroken, "Robert, sometimes I really don't understand you. You don't love me anymore, so why won't you divorce me?" Robert's expression turned angry. He swung his legs off the bed, grabbed Sarah's wrist, and dragged her out of the room. "Love, love, love, all day long. You're 32, not 19. I have a successful career now and I'm supporting you, a stay-at-home wife. What more could you possibly be unhappy about? From now on, don't come to my room without my permission." With that, the door slammed shut. Sarah pulled her hand free. Her palm was marked with bleeding fingernail indentations. She returned to her bedroom, feeling lost and dejected. As soon as she lay down, the door burst open with a bang. Robert rushed in, grabbed her, dragged her downstairs, and shoved her into the car. Jessica fainted from anemia. She's at the hospital now and desperately needs you to come give her blood. With that hurried explanation, Robert started the car and sped off. Sarah, who hadn't buckled up, was thrown by the car's sudden movement and hit her head hard against the window. But Robert didn't notice, gripping the steering wheel and anxiously staring ahead, constantly changing lanes and speeding up. The former Robert knew Mom and Dad forced her to donate blood for Jessica. He would get into fights to protect her and almost went to jail. But the current Robert had also become the one forcing her to donate blood. Sarah was taken to the hospital and immediately had 400 cc of blood drawn. Her face was as pale as paper, but no one came to see her. Everyone was hovering around Jessica. In the empty hospital room, she received a message from young Robert. Sarah, how are you? Are you okay? The 32-year-old Robert was too much. How dare he hit you? Don't be afraid. I'll punish him for you right now. I'll break my own leg and make him a cripple. Then he won't be able to leave you anymore. Sarah stared at the screen, her chest tight, unable to breathe. What was the point of tying a Robert who didn't love her to her side? She replied bitterly, no need. If you really want to help me, sign the divorce papers for the 32-year-old Robert. Or stay far away from the me of the past. The other side refused without hesitation. No way. You can punish me however you want, but I will never leave you. Sarah, you can't abandon the 19-year-old me just because the 32-year-old Robert did something wrong. Sarah gave a bitter laugh, put down her phone, and didn't reply. She returned home alone, only to be surprised to find Robert in her master bedroom. As soon as she entered, he was staring at her sharply, raising a hand to unbutton his shirt. Sarah was scared and backed away. What are you doing? Robert sneered impatiently, ripping off his clothes, revealing a large expanse of muscular chest. Naturally, I'm fulfilling my marital duties. Or should I just watch you find some other man and cheat on me? The insulting words made Sarah's face change. She turned to leave. Robert, I'm not as disgusting as you. But Robert grabbed her wrist. Let go! You're hurting me. Sarah struggled in pain, but Robert tightened his grip. He even used his other hand to throw her over his shoulder. Why won't you let me touch you? Are you saving yourself for that man outside? Before he finished, Sarah was thrown onto the bed by Robert. Then he climbed on top of her, viciously gripping her neck and holding her down. Just then, a video call request popped up unexpectedly. Robert looked at the screen, at the words Robert blinking, and sneered. Sarah, you saved his name as mine? Are you deceiving yourself or trying to fool others? The moment he answered, he muted the sound and tossed the phone aside without looking. He then ripped Sarah's clothes with one hand. Rip! Her back felt cold against the surface. Sarah struggled even more, her voice thick with pleading sobs. Robert, you bastard! Let go of me! Ignoring her pleas completely, Robert unbuckled his belt and thrust forward. A muffled groan was followed by the crisp sound of a slap. You like him, don't you? Then let him hear how wild you are in bed. Sarah tightly shut her eyes in humiliation, gripping the sheets, enduring the tearing pain, biting her lip hard, refusing to make a sound. She didn't know how long it lasted. Sarah's lips were busted, her tears dried, and the tearing pain turned numb. The room fell silent again, only his breathing remained. The call had ended long ago, but her phone screen was flooded with messages from young Robert. From anger to heartbreak, then to helplessness. Sarah held her phone, pulled up the blanket, covering her bruised and mottled body, and replied expressionlessly. You heard it all, didn't you? The scrolling messages stopped. Typing flashed several times, but nothing was sent. Just as Sarah thought he wouldn't reply, a video call request came through. Sarah tapped answer. The sound of wind rushed from the earpiece. The next second, Sarah was startled to see young Robert standing on the edge of a rooftop through the screen. Young Robert looked at Sarah through the screen, his bloodshot eyes filled with heartache. He choked out a smile, his voice thick. If I die, Robert won't be able to hurt you anymore. Sarah's heart leaped. She cried out, "No! Sarah, I love you!" With that, young Robert threw himself backward. The video call instantly cut off. Sarah was still shaken. She kept tapping the screen to call back, but no one answered. Unease spread rapidly through her heart. Her phone suddenly rang. She felt like her heart stopped for a beat. Trembling, she answered Robert's assistant's call. "Mrs. Robert, Mr. Robert was in a car accident on his way from the mansion. He's already in the hospital. Please come quickly." Sarah scrambled out of bed. Her legs gave out, and she nearly fell. But she couldn't bother with that. She quickly changed and rushed to the hospital. All the way there, her heart pounded with anxiety. But logic told her young Robert should be okay. Otherwise, if he jumped from the rooftop, the present Robert should be dead by now, shouldn't exist. Anxious the whole way, Sarah arrived at the hospital. Just as she was about to enter the room, she saw through the hospital room window that Robert had only suffered a minor scrape on his forehead. In the room, Jessica was wiping tears and looking distressed nearby. "It's all my fault. If I hadn't been so desperate for you to pick me up, you wouldn't have been in an accident." As she spoke, she didn't forget to stir up trouble, adding, "You've been hurt for so long, how come Sarah hasn't even called to check on you?" Robert frowned, his eyes filled with suppressed anger. "Don't mention that ingrate Sarah. I don't need her concern." Outside the door, Sarah gave a self-mocking laugh. She shouldn't have come. On the way back, Sarah repeatedly tried to video call young Robert, but no one answered. Not long after returning home, Robert came back, his face dark. He walked up to Sarah and asked in a low voice, "Do you know I was in a car accident today?" Sarah glanced at him calmly. "Yes." Robert choked, asking dryly, "Yes? You didn't even say anything caring, or make a call? Do you even know you're my wife?" Sarah turned to look at Robert, a flicker of sarcasm in her eyes. "Didn't Jessica stay with you? Didn't you say you didn't need my concern?" Hearing this, Robert's face changed slightly. He retorted awkwardly, "Since you went to the hospital, why didn't you come into the room?" Sarah okayed at him coldly, addressing the topic for the first time with extreme calm. "If I had gone in, wouldn't I have interrupted you and Jessica? Your 24 hours are all about her. One moment she has a headache, then her hand hurts, then her foot. Why would I need to be a third wheel?" Robert's face darkened. Sarah added, "Jessica probably doesn't know you came back from the hospital, does she? Her call will probably come soon." Before she finished, Robert's phone rang, and it was indeed Jessica calling. Sarah gave a self-mocking laugh, pushed Robert aside, and was about to enter the room. Just then, her phone's video call ringtone sounded. The call was from young Robert. Robert snatched the phone, his expression sinister. "Ah, Sarah, no wonder you were rushing me away. You were in a hurry to see your lover. Give me my phone back." Sarah raised her hand to grab it. Robert immediately pressed to answer the video call. "I'll see who this adulterous pair is." With that, he turned and looked at the screen, meeting young Robert's eyes. The 32-year-old Robert was shocked. "Who are you? How can you look exactly like me?" On the other side of the video, young Robert was equally agitated. "You 32-year-old old man. I'm warning you, treat Sarah well, or I'll make you regret it." The 32-year-old Robert cursed angrily. "Who's this pretty boy trying to lecture me? Even if you look just like me, you're just a substitute. I won't divorce Sarah. I advise you two, this adulterous pair, to give up on being together." Before he finished speaking, Sarah finally lunged forward, shoved Robert hard, snatched back her phone, and ended the video call. Her eyes red, she stared at Robert without blinking, trembling all over, her chest constricted with a suffocating blockage, unable to say a word. Robert was speechless, stung by the thick disappointment in her eyes. Ring, ring. Robert's phone rang again. But this time, it was Mr. Smith's voice coming from the receiver. Robert. Tay. LL Sarah, that the old house my grandparents left me? We're tearing it down to make a piano room for Jessica. Tell him to go transfer the deed quickly. Sarah's heart tightened abruptly. She yelled into the phone, I don't agree. The old house is the only warmth my grandparents left me. You can't take it away. But Robert hung up and said discontentedly, it's just an old rundown house. Don't be so stingy. Aren't you comfortable living in the mansion I bought you? Your sister finally found a quiet place to recover. As the older sister, don't you know how to be understanding? Sarah's eyes turned red with anger. Robert, you saw me bury my grandparents alone. You know better than anyone what the old house means to me. How could you say something like that? He had once held her when she refused to eat or drink, promising, Sarah, don't cry. You still have me. I'll take care of you in place of your grandparents. I'll be good to you for a lifetime. But the good Robert spoke of only lasted until he met Jessica. Clenching her hands tightly, Sarah looked at the silent Robert. The last bit of affection in her heart seemed to have been completely used up. She said to Robert wearily, if you want, you can certainly bring Jessica to your mansion. But you don't get to decide about my house. With that, Sarah left the displeased Robert and rushed to the grandparents' old house as fast as she could. Thankfully, the grandparents' old house hadn't started being demolished yet. Sarah breathed a sigh of relief. Just as she entered the house, she received another video call from young Robert. She answered the call. Suddenly, the front door outside was shut. Through the glass panel in the old wooden door, Jessica was pouring flammable liquid towards the house. Sarah gripped her phone, cautiously opening the door. Jessica, what are you doing? Jessica sneered, throwing away the liquid container and pulling out a lighter. Can't you tell? I had Mom and Dad trick you into coming in here so I could burn you to death in this dilapidated old house myself. I've been sick of you competing with me for Robert for a long time. Since Robert can't bear to let you go, you should just disappear. Sarah was shocked. Jessica, are you crazy? This is a crime. Jessica didn't care. She lit the lighter. Mom and Dad won't investigate me for your death, and neither will Robert. With that, whoosh, flames instantly shot up. Sarah quickly retreated to the innermost bedroom, wetting the bedding and stuffing it under the crack under the door. Then she immediately called the police. I'm at 121, Suburban Road. Jessica is attempting murder by arson. Time passed second by second. The fire grew larger, smoke filled the air. Sarah couldn't escape. As she was choking and about to lose consciousness, she could hear young Robert's panicked crying in her ear. Sarah, hold on a little longer. Rescue will come soon. Before losing consciousness, Sarah's mind drifted back to the day she rushed into the fire to save Robert. Only this time, she was the only one trapped. She didn't know how long passed. Sirens sounded, fresh air rushed into her lungs. Sarah coughed and opened her eyes. She was met with Robert's worried gaze. The familiar tension and concern made her heart tremble. But the next second, Robert frowned and snapped, now that you're awake, hurry up and explain. You clearly caused the fire yourself by being careless, but you called the police claiming Jessica tried to murder you by arson? That's absurd. The bit of emotion that had just surged up immediately cooled. Robert wasn't anxious because she was in danger, he was just rushing to protect Jessica. Sarah's nose stung, and her vision blurred. She tightened her grip on the phone, which was still connected. Her lips trembled, her eyes empty, staring at the hospital's white wall. Robert, after all this, you still won't sign the divorce papers with me? The phone stopped vibrating abruptly. It was hot. The 32-year-old Robert was furious and humiliated. Sarah, you are completely unreasonable. Failing to frame your own sister, and now you want a divorce? How could I have ever fallen in love with a woman like you? I will never divorce you and let you be with someone else. Get that idea out of your head. With that, he stormed off. Sarah slowly raised her phone, wiped the dust from the screen, and looked at young Robert's ashen face. She asked young Robert slowly, now, are you willing to sign the divorce papers for the 32-year-old Robert? There was no sound from the other end. Sarah pulled at the corner of her lips and said dryly, "Young Robert, the old house from my grandparents was my last home. If the house is gone, my home is gone too. Without a home, I'll wander the world. I want to be a free bird." Young Robert closed his eyes, his voice rough. "Okay, sign. I'll let you go. Let you be a free bird. After it's signed, I'll bury it under the flower bed in front of the grandparents' old house." After hanging up, Sarah didn't bother resting to recover. She rushed to the flower bed at the grandparents' old house and dug up a yellowed copy of the divorce papers. Without stopping for a moment, she hurried to the courthouse. Less than 10 minutes later, the staff handed her 2 divorce certificates. "Ms. Smith, the evidence you provided meets the conditions for expedited processing, waiving the divorce waiting period. Here are your divorce certificates. Please keep them." Looking at the 2 divorce certificates, Sarah's eyes trembled slightly. She closed her eyes, and 2 lines of tears uncontrollably rolled down her cheeks. 10 years of marital chains. From today, she was finally no longer anyone's property. She was free. Walking out of the courthouse, Sarah hailed a taxi. On the way, she scrolled through Mrs. Smith's social media feed. Young people really understand romance. "My dearest daughter and son-in-law are a match made in heaven." The accompanying Any photo grid showed Robert with Jessica attending a high-end auction, him and Jessica sharing a candlelight dinner, and them making wishes and kissing on a Ferris wheel. The phone pressed painfully into her palm. Sarah sneered inwardly. She tapped on the comments and slowly typed, "Sister-in-law and brother-in-law make quite a pair. From now on, I wish your perfect little family dream come true." After posting, she immediately booked a flight abroad. Then she returned to the mansion and packed her bags as quickly as possible. She didn't want to stay in Robert's mansion for another minute. But as she came downstairs with her luggage, she ran right into an enraged Robert. He frowned, demanding fiercely, "What do you mean by your comment on social media? Do you know Jessica almost fainted from anger because of you? What's this sister-in-law and brother-in-law nonsense? What are you trying to do? Are you only happy when you've turned this house upside down?" Sarah suppressed the pain in her eyes, looking down at him. "Did you ever treat me like a wife? Did Jessica ever treat me like a sister? Did Mom and Dad ever treat me like a daughter? If even one of you had cared about me, we wouldn't have ended up like this." With that, she tried to walk past Robert and go downstairs, but he blocked her way with his body. Even his gold-rimmed glasses couldn't hide the man's rage. "Where are you going with your luggage? Are you going back to that pretty boy who looks like me? You just have to act like a slut, don't you? You're not going." Sarah laughed with anger. Slap! She slapped the man across the face. "Are you awake now?" Robert was stunned. He had never seen Sarah so strong and cold. For a moment, he even forgot to be angry. Sarah looked at him and said, word by word, "Robert, listen carefully. From now on, where I go has nothing to do with you." Robert watched her coldly, his voice tight. "What do you mean?" Seeing him calm down, Sarah took the divorce certificate from her pocket and calmly handed them over. "Exactly what it sounds like. We're already divorced. Robert, you and Jessica can be happy and sweet from now on. You don't need to include me anymore." Robert's heart suddenly panicked when he saw the seal on the divorce certificates, but he quickly regained his coldness. He sneered, "Sarah, you should have some legal common sense when you make trouble. I didn't sign the divorce papers. How could you possibly get divorce certificates?" Saying that, he snatched the divorce certificates, ripped up those bad luck charms. "Don't let me see them again, or I have ways to make sure you never leave this mansion your entire life." After tearing up the divorce certificates, the panic in Robert's heart subsided. Sarah remained silent. The 32-year-old Robert was too self-centered. There was no way to communicate with him. Her silence was taken by Robert as giving in. The man's face regained its composure. He even said, "That's right, that's how you keep my former gentleness towards you. Be obedient and I'll treat you well. Coincidentally, I'm taking Mom and Dad and Jessica to Maldives to relax today. You can come along too, so you won't say we don't care about you." With that, he didn't allow Sarah to resist at all, dragging her wrist directly downstairs. As soon as they got downstairs, Sarah saw a stretch limousine/limo parked outside the mansion. Jessica was standing by the car, her gaze sweeping over Robert's indifferent face, and she immediately snapped, accusing Sarah. "You're impossible. As soon as Robert is back, you make him angry. When can you be as considerate of Robert as I am?" Sarah glanced at her, scoffing disdainfully. "I don't have a sister, and even if I did, she wouldn't be flirting with my brother-in-law." "Sarah, shut up if you don't know how to talk." Robert's face darkened. He shoved Sarah away. She staggered back a step before regaining her balance. Jessica, standing nearby, gave Sarah a smug look before turning and holding onto Robert's arm. "Robert, Sarah hasn't liked me for ages. I'm used to it. Don't get worked up on my behalf." "Oh, right, you said you came back to get something. Are you done? Let's go. Don't keep Mom and Dad waiting." Robert's expression softened. He took Jessica's hand and got in the car. Turning back, he ordered Sarah coldly, "Aren't you getting in? Do you need me to invite you?" Hearing this, Jessica's face changed. She said with difficulty, "Sarah is going too? That's not good." Sarah was talking nonsense on social media and really upset Mom and Dad. They even said they wanted to cut off ties with her. Besides, our tickets were already booked, and there are no seats left on that flight. Robert didn't care. "It's fine. I'll have my assistant book another flight." Sarah was pushed into the car and sat directly in the back. As she got in, she saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith were already sitting there. Seeing her, the couple immediately frowned. "Robert, this trip to Maldives is to hold a wedding ceremony for you and Jessica. Why are you bringing Sarah?" Hearing this, Sarah immediately looked at Robert. Their eyes met. The man, uncharacteristically guilty, shifted his gaze. She curled her lips in a mocking smile. "So, you wanted me to come to Maldives with you just so I could witness your wedding ceremony with Jessica?" Her slow words showed no hint of displeasure, as if she didn't care at all what happened between Robert and Jessica. Robert tugged at his tie, feeling inexplicably stifled. His eyes were fixed on Sarah, dark and troubled. Before he could speak, Jessica giggled sweetly. "That's right. Since Sarah refused to divorce Robert, I was wronged by only being able to hold the wedding ceremony. Initially, I was afraid you'd be sad and didn't want to tell you, but it looks like Robert wanted you to witness our happy moment firsthand." Sarah scoffed. "Oh? Congratulations then. It's best if you think that way." Mrs. Smith, who had been silent, suddenly interjected, "Sarah, if you hadn't refused to divorce Robert, we wouldn't have taken Jessica to Maldives to hold a wedding ceremony. From now on, think more about your own problems. Isn't it because you, as the older sister, are too narrow-minded?" "Narrow-minded?" Sarah suddenly burst out laughing.